Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new, Peoria, Illinois got it this week, review. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. My name is Ben. This is That Cologne Guy. This is the channel that welcomes you to your weekend. It also welcomes you to a fragrant Friday indeed. And this episode is to wish you Happy Thanksgiving. If you're not in the U.S., you know probably that in the U.S. In November, we have a big holiday called Thanksgiving in which we express our gratitude towards all, which really means we just get together, eat way too much food, usually turkey or tofurkey, and then we watch way too much football. Either way, Happy Thanksgiving to you, and I would like to express my thanks to you for all of your support over the years. It means a lot, and I really appreciate that. You've seen the title and the description, so actually I'm finally getting around. This is my first top 5 for a house. I've always wanted to do this, and you know what? This week is the time. Last week, I reviewed Polo Oud by Ralph Lauren, and subscriber Bren and I went back and forth, and we started to kind of talk about our favorite Ralph Laurens, and then it struck me that this would be a perfect time to do my first top 5 or top 10, top anything for per house. So this is the episode. I'm super excited about it, and I thank Bren. In fact, as I was about ready to hit record, I realized Bren is from Ireland. And I'm actually wearing an Ireland rugby shirt. It is totally by chance, okay? I swear to you, it was a mere coincidence that it just so happens to be. This is one of my favorite shirts, and who doesn't love Irish rugby? I have tried to convince Bren to go to the right side and be a Connacht fan, but let's see if I can convince him in the end. So Bren and I went back and forth. It was just time to do this. In this episode, I and then you guys in comments are going to talk about your favorite top 5 fragrances for Ralph Lauren. Now let's lay the ground rules for this episode. I'm only going to allow 6, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a top 5 plus 1 honorable mention. And the reason why I say that is because frag heads tend to, if you've ever been on Fragrantica or Base Notes, you'll see that top 10s end up being 20, 23. I've been guilty of this myself. In fact, some of my top 20s started off at top 10s. And I've had multiple honorable mentions. It's very, very difficult because we are passionate for fragrance. But I want you to stick to 5, your top 5 plus 1 honorable mention if you'd like it. So max 6. Number 1, that's the rule. Number 2, no ties. So just 6 fragrances. Number 3, here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and do men's fragrances. And it's only because I was looking this morning. I mean, other than Romance, which is a wonderful perfume, actually, I don't have a lot of familiarity with women's perfumes. So I'm going to give you 6 men's fragrances from Ralph Lauren, from this house. But feel free on your end to do, 6 perfumes if you'd like to do only fragrances for women, or if you would like to combine the two. It doesn't matter on your end. I would just like to know 6 of your favorite fragrances, your top list for Ralph Lauren for this house. And so I'll stick to the men's and you guys do what you like. So those are the ground rules for this week. And as always, don't forget, if you don't really know, a top 5, you could add 1. You just can't go more than the 6. But if you don't have much to say about a list, always remember, I love your scent of the day. My scent of the day is I still have just a little tiny juice left of Déclaration Parfum. And so by Cartier, and I'm going to I am already actually rocking that juice today. So let's get down to brass tacks. Actually, one more rule is if you don't have to. So when I have a top list, I typically, once you make it onto my list, I don't really number them so much. This time I'm going to. So don't feel like you have to, but I actually did list them for this house. It was relatively easy to do. With other houses like Amouage, I think it would be excruciating for me to do that. It's already hard to get down to a top 5 anyway. So my honorable mention is, and by the way, for the top 5 list, actually I have my trusty notes. You will see me looking down because yours truly never reads from a script. My first one is honorable mention, and of course it is 1978's Polo. I had to do this because, as I said last week, I don't like it as much as you guys do, but I really do like it. I think it would be, quite honestly, I think it would be slightly awkward to do a top 5 Ralph Lauren list without the classic. I even thought about Chaps for the real old bros out there, but I'm going to stick with 1978's Polo. By Ralph Lauren, of course, and this is a woody chypre. Don't forget that a chypre means fern-like, and so in this particular case, we've got wood, and then we've got a lot of pine needles. I really don't need to say too much about Polo, just because either you've had it, your dad has had it, your uncle, your grandfather, someone in your family has worn it, and it evokes a very specific, just nostalgia. It really does. I mean, so it needs to be on my list, and I'm going to put it as my honorable mention. I actually have 2 on this list that might surprise you guys that watch me each week. I'm not a huge fan of what I call, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. I'll boo myself and edit. I'm not a huge fan of the grandma-ish fragrances, but actually I've got 2. And so number 5 is 1991's Polo Crest. I actually really, really like that one. When you get into the early 90s, it is, of course, the Carnation Explosion. This one is... When I think of Polo Crest, I think of, it was probably the first one I had that was just really, really complex. There are a ton of notes. There's just a lot going on. And if you don't like a linear fragrance, you would like something like Polo Crest. I mean, it is admittedly, for a lot of people, a dated fragrance. It is slightly grandma-ish, and do not unsubscribe, okay? It's slightly, I said. Carnation, caraway, rosemary, oak moss. It's certainly dated. That said, I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, it was the first Ralph Lauren fragrance that I went out myself and actually purchased. I think I had like 3 bottles of Polo that was given to me, right? Or that were given to me over the years. But that I actually went out and got myself was Polo Crest. And Polo Sport was close. I was about that time, excuse me. But I like Polo Crest, and that makes the list at number 5. Number 4 is one that many people have recommended to me over the years, because you guys know that I like Calvin Klein's Eternity Aqua. And I also like Blue by Bulgari, which looks like Blove by Bulgari, with the U is like, remember the V in Latin, so it's kind of pretentious. But Blue by Bulgari is amazing, and Eternity Aqua is just it's one of those. It's my choice for. I totally concede that it's not the most original. I just like it. I don't really have too much more to say than I just like it. So many people have told me that if I like those 2, I should try Polo Blue Eau de Parfum, or any of the Polo Blues, and that's the one I settled on. So this is the 2016. This is not the Parfum. This is the Eau de Parfum from 2016, and this is a nice aquatic. And it's got kind of like an Eternity Aqua meets Aqua di Gio element to it. My only complaint about Polo Blue Eau de Parfum is, if you've had it, you know what I'll say. It really isn't an Eau de Toilette. It is. It doesn't function as an Eau de Parfum. It does not. But that's what it's called. So it's too weak, and I don't care for that. But the actual fragrance itself is great. It cracks my top 5. I really enjoy it, and it would be higher, but it just doesn't have the longevity. So again, that's the 2016 version. Now, up to number 3. So number 3 is another one that's going to surprise you a little bit, because it is a very gentleman fragrance, a classic. Some of the younger guys nowadays would probably say it is a grandma or grandpa scent, but we're going to call it a traditional gentleman's fragrance, which of course is a fascinating one. I really love my top 3, and this is number 3, Safari. So Ralph Lauren's Safari is just It has not been discontinued. They keep making it. It holds its own. It's a classic. That is a 1992. So that is 32 years old. That's a little scary. So again, early 90s. So you have carnation, and more carnation, along with aldehydes, rose, and it's a woody aromatic. And so again, might not be for everybody, but it's one of the few kind of, I don't know if the word, but it's one of the few fragrances that gets considered to be a grandma-ish fragrance that I actually really, really, really like. So Safari makes it, and it is a bronze medal, number 3. I really, really appreciated that one. Had multiple bottles. And now we get into the top 2. Number 2 is one that kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people. I know a lot of you guys like the red, and then you like remember the 4, the ponies with the numbers, the Ralph Lauren's like 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys like those a lot. I like them, but to me, number 2 is just brilliant when it comes to mango and coffee mixed, which is double black, Polo double black. If you have not tried that one, man, that is a great fragrance to give as a gift, because I don't see too many guys disliking that one, or women actually, on their guy. So double black really hits its stride for me. I just love the intoxicating mix of the mango and the coffee. And that's did I put the year? 2006. Yeah, 2006. So, and it's got Indonesian nutmeg as well. So I actually really, really like everything about double black. Got 6 to 8 hours longevity, so that's good enough for me. And it comes in at a robust number 2. Number 1, if you saw last week, you would know what my pick is. I don't have too many surprises then. It has been discontinued, sadly, and that is Supreme Oud. Supreme Oud. There are not that many notes in this fragrance. This is a 2015 cinnamon oud guaiac wood combination, which I just absolutely adore. This is the one I mentioned that I actually put on my skin. I sprayed a bottle of it in Vienna, in the airport in Vienna, Austria, and I absolutely loved it. And I thought, I don't want to spontaneously buy this. I mean, I should probably wait. And went home and, of course, found out that it was pretty much only available in Europe. And then, of course, they discontinued it and you can't find it anywhere. So I regret greatly not getting Supreme Oud. That said, it's outstanding. I love the fact that it is linear, actually. I mean, because you guys know I love cinnamon, love oud, love guaiac wood. Everything speaks to me loving it. And oh, did I. Some people said they didn't get good longevity. I mean, I got outstanding, because even when I got off the plane after Vienna, here in the States, it was still going strong. And that was only 1 or 2 sprays that I put on my wrists. So I didn't have any issues with that. I did get Polo Oud. It is quite good as a substitute. It's good enough. It's not as good as Supreme Oud, and that's why I'm going to keep. And I don't have ties. That's why I'm not going to include those two on the number 1 spot. So there you have it. Honorable mention, Polo. Number 5, Polo Crest. Number 4, Polo Blue Eau de Parfum. Number 3 is Safari. Number 2, Double Black. And number 1, Supreme Oud. All, of course, by the house of Ralph Lauren. What is your top 5 for this house? You can include 1 honorable mention. This could be easy. It could be very, very difficult for you. In this particular case, for this house, I do admit that it was actually easy for me to come up with 6. Red would probably be, if I did a top 10, red would appear. Chaps would appear. Purple label is good. And then one of the numbers, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but one of those like pony 1, 2, 3, 4s would be there. A buddy of mine had, I think it was 4 that I liked, but it's not a top 10, it's a top 5. Let me know what your top 5 is. If you really don't know, you just like to watch these episodes, let me know your scent of the day. And of course, if you like this content, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really helps out the channel. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. Okay, so welcome to the bonus feature. I just wanted to add, especially from last week, I did double check the pronunciation of this house. And here's what I think is happening. I mentioned that some people say Ralph Lauren and some people say Ralph Lauren. He is American, so it should be Ralph Lauren. I did double check, and it is Ralph Lauren. Here's what I think may be happening. I think sometimes we're thinking of the actress Sophia Loren, and so it makes sense to say Ralph Lauren. And maybe it's because of Sophia Loren that we want to say Ralph Lauren. That said, it is Ralph Lauren, and just wanted to point that out and put that to rest. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Friday.